Hey, this is Jimmy True, Truman's Awakening TV. Thanks guys for tuning in. Got a really interesting video to share with you, some content. I've been connecting some important dots to do with this pandemic, COVID-19, Bill Gates, DuPont, the family behind the petrochemical DuPont chemicals that are responsible for polluting our waterways and polluting 99% of the world's population with their chemical. Watched a really interesting documentary today, but also a film called Dark Water, which is all about DuPont and their contamination of our waterways with their product, which is C8, which is highly toxic and causing birth defects, damage to the immune systems of people. But it's a product that goes into Teflon pans, non-stick pans, and many other household products. And despite years and years of being taken through the court system, what have you, and research being done on their products externally to see what the health effects would be, they've continued to use another product which is called Gen X, which ultimately is just as bad as C8 ultimately, and they're still polluting our waterways. Now, the connection I've actually made to COVID-19 is very interesting, because I discovered during that film that there was a reference in the film, this is Dark Water, where the lawyer who's involved with taking DuPont to court over this chemical and contamination, he clicks on his computer and Microsoft jumped up. And so I thought, is there a link between Bill Gates or Microsoft, and DuPont? And lo and behold, I discovered that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation have invested some money recently, or given a grant to DuPont and their biosciences arm, right? And they've got a bioscience arm, which is involved with probiotics. Now, I want to show you something really interesting. So you have to bear with me because I'm going to jump about a little bit. I'm going to share my screen. So here we have, I'm just going to show you this, is just an article which says Monsanto, Syngenta, DuPont, Bill Gates and Rockefeller, major sponsors of the World Food Prize. And basically it's just showing a connection obviously with Bill Gates and these companies. Now, if we have a quick look at DuPont, this article here, DuPont chosen to provide probiotics for international pediatric sepsis research. Okay, so what's that mean? Well, they're talking about, research and working on probiotics and stuff. In fact, I'll show you a video where a lady talks about it. She can explain it a lot better than me, but ultimately it's to do with children, infants in India that are dying of sepsis, and they're working on probiotics that can reduce that by 40%. In fact, let's just have a quick look at that now, because the connection is with COVID-19 is that COVID-19 causes sepsis. So let's just have a quick look at this article here. So this is to do with Sepsis Alliance. Update, can COVID-19 cause sepsis? Yep. And if you read this, and I can provide you these links, you'll see that it will indeed confirm that it does cause sepsis. Here goes. As there's no proven therapies effective against the virus itself, it's apparent that the best COVID-19 care includes good sepsis care. Okay, so that is the relevance there. But here is the lady who works for DuPont that explains what they're doing in terms of these probiotics.
Welcome to USA. Now, sepsis is a leading cause of deaths for newborns, particularly in the developing world. A new large study that's being funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation will test if probiotics can help. Now, I'm very pleased to be joined by Buffy Stahl from DuPont, which is manufacturing the probiotic strain being used in the trial. Thanks for joining us, Buffy.
Absolutely happy to be here, Stephen.
Excellent. So I understand that the strain being used is quite unique. So can you tell us a little bit about it?
Absolutely. Just as you touched on, sepsis in infants, the occurrence remains stubbornly high in developing countries. And so DuPont saw this opportunity where a trial had been run on a Lactobacillus plantarum strain and published in the journal Nature in 2017, which demonstrated a reduction in the sepsis and a death occurrence of a nearly 40% reduction and in India. So when the Gates Foundation approached us, we were very happy to understand the Lactobacillus plantarum species being a preferred manufacturer of probiotics. We did some genetic testing on the strain, uncovered its full genome sequence, and compared it, and it is quite unique amongst all the other probiotics on the market.
Okay, and I know you're not running the trial, you're just providing the strain, but can you give us some of the bullet points about the trial itself, like how many children, this kind of thing?
Absolutely, it's a landmark trial. I think this will be undoubtedly the largest ever clinical demonstration of probiotic efficacy in infants to date. It may be the largest probiotic trial ever conducted. So the Gates Foundation has chosen very capable and very world-renowned scientists at the Hospital for Sick Children in Toronto. And so under partnership with the Hospital for Sick Kids, as they're known, DuPont will manufacture this specific probiotic ingredient under our infant codex and under our high quality manufacturing specifications at DuPont in order to provide that investigational product for this very large trial that will possibly be conducted in up to 8,000 infants in Bangladesh.
Wow. And so obviously you've developed this probiotic, it's going into this trial, but DuPont at the end of the day would like to commercialize it as well. So what's the plan there?
Absolutely. I think the first demonstration of this particular strain of probiotic in order to reduce sepsis and death in India actually gave some leading indications that the strain had a little bit more power even outside of developing countries. And so around infant immune development, DuPont is looking to commercialize the strain down the road in order to offer that for things like dietary supplement application, such as infant drops or infant formula addition. And so we're working on commercializing the strain secondary to our more philanthropic efforts to support the Gates Foundation.
Well, the very best of luck with it.
Thank you so much.
Buffy, thanks for joining us. For Nutri-Ingredients USA.
Okay, so a couple of interesting points there. So she's talking about one of the largest trials ever done, 8,000, whatever. If you haven't watched the documentary or the film Dark Water and the documentary The Devil We Know, I recommend you do. It basically explains how the largest analysis of in the world that was done on about 79,000 people gave up their blood so that their genes or their bloods could be checked against this C8 chemical contamination. And so finally now that this DuPont company are doing the largest trial of a probiotic, we cannot trust these companies, these corporations that are polluting our waterways, that are killing people. This is something that's clearly part of the agenda by the elites. DuPont family is one of the wealthiest families, has been for a long, long time, and working very closely with Bill Gates, who we know is obviously one of the wealthiest people on the planet. And so it's really no coincidence that there's this connection between sepsis, COVID-19 and DuPont. This video clip was done, you'll see it in July 2019, so a good 5 or 6 months before this pandemic occurred. And clearly what's happened is they've created a virus that is going to cause more people to have sepsis, and then they've got a probiotic that DuPont's working on, which will be able to help keep people alive and prevent them from dying from sepsis, maybe ultimately then I'll prevent them from dying from COVID-19. So maybe the whole vaccine thing is a little bit of a red herring to obviously get everybody thinking and worrying about actually being forced to have a vaccine. But in the end, all it is going to be is about pushing this probiotic. And again, there could be anything in that probiotic as well, for all we know. Because the nature of Teflon is once it goes into your body can't break it down. And that's why it can cause long-term health effects and will cause long-term health effects, including cancers and genetic modifications to your body. So of course that enables then this Teflon, which provides a sealing and a barrier to contain any kind of nanotechnology that they also want to put into it. So this is really, really scary stuff. So I will be more than happy to provide you the links to this information so you can have a look at it in more detail. But yeah, I think I've connected some important dots there. And I've done a video briefly today or earlier today, which is again showing Bill Gates briefing to the CIA, talking about putting a virus out there, and then, you know, vaccinating people. Clearly it was him. He was wearing a mask. In that video, I'll show you how effective or, you know, convincing these prosthetic masks are, that you can literally just put on in 5 seconds now. Of course, Bill Gates has got loads of money. Even when he did that video a long time ago, they would have been able to make him look very convincingly like somebody else. So even though that video was debunked as not Bill Gates, it is Bill Gates for sure, because I make the voice comparisons and it is definitely him. So please share this with as many people as you can. As many people need to see this information. You need to see Dark Water. It's a really important film to watch. Some real truth in that. It's a true story. And watch the documentary, The Devil You Know, and then we must bring these people down, because this is just outrageous. We are literally being tested like guinea pigs here. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for clicking like, subscribe to my channel. And yeah, wishing you all the best. Obviously, I'll be in touch with more videos soon. Take care.